Let me take you back to a time when China was almost invisible to the outside world. Imagine a country sealed off, living behind walls of ideology, suspicion, and poverty. Now picture one man, not very tall, not very loud, a man who had been thrown out of power twice, humiliated, even sent to a tractor factory to do manual labor. A man who seemed finished. But from that same man came the decision that would flip China's fate upside down, turning it into a global powerhouse. His name, Deng Xiaoping. And today, I'm going to tell you the story of how Deng opened the doors of China to the world. But let's not rush. Because Deng's story isn't just about policies or reforms, it's about survival, betrayal, comeback, and a gamble that changed history. Deng Xiaoping was born in 1904 in a small village in Sichuan province. At 16, he was already on his way to France, part of a work-study program where young Chinese students hoped to find both knowledge and revolution. Life in France was hard. He worked in factories, endured hunger, even lived in dorms with barely enough food. But here's the twist. While some went there to study engineering, Deng soaked himself in communist ideology. He met Zhou Enlai, he read Marx, and he decided China needed a complete transformation. The boy from Sichuan wanted nothing less than to tear down the old order. Fast forward, Deng becomes a loyal fighter in Mao Zedong's Communist Party. He fights in wars, marches in the Long March, and earns the nickname Little Man with a Giant Brain. Why? Because while others made speeches, Deng solved problems. Mao trusted him sometimes, but Mao also distrusted everyone. And that included Deng. Now, here's where the suspense begins. In the 1950s and 60s, Mao's China was sinking. The Great Leap Forward had led to famine, killing tens of millions. The Cultural Revolution had thrown China into chaos, teachers beaten, intellectuals humiliated, factories and schools paralyzed. Deng himself. He was purged, accused of being a capitalist roader. They sent him away, stripped his titles, forced him into hard labor. Think about this. The man who would one day open China to capitalism was once punished for being too capitalist. That irony alone could fill a whole novel. But Deng had something rare: patience. Unlike others who broke or gave up, Deng waited. He knew the storms of Mao's rule would eventually pass. Mao might be immortal in propaganda, but in reality, Mao was aging and power was shifting. Deng's chance would come if he survived. Mao dies in 1976. China is a wreck. The economy is stagnant, people are poor, farmers can't feed themselves, factories make junk nobody wants. At Mao's funeral, the country mourned, but behind closed doors, a battle for the future began. Who would lead China now? For a short while, Hua Guofeng, Mao's handpicked successor, tried to rule with a slogan: "Whatever Chairman Mao said, we do. Whatever Chairman Mao did, we follow." But slogans don't fill empty stomachs. Hua lacked charisma, and more importantly, he lacked a plan. That's when Deng re-emerged. Slowly, carefully, he built alliances, convinced senior leaders that China couldn't go on like this. And then he delivered his shocking line, the line that still echoes today: "It doesn't matter whether a cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice." Stop here for a second. Think about that. In a country drowning in ideology, where every policy had to be stamped with Marxist or Maoist approval, Deng was saying results matter more than dogma. Feed the people first, debate ideology later. This was radical. Dangerous even, but it resonated with a nation tired of suffering. By 1978, Deng had enough power to launch his revolution not with guns, but with reforms. This was the birth of what we now call opening up. But Deng didn't announce capitalism outright. He was too smart for that. Instead, he spoke of socialism with Chinese characteristics. The words sounded safe, but the actions were bold. He began in the countryside. Farmers were allowed to keep and sell surplus crops after meeting state quotas. For the first time in decades, peasants had an incentive to grow more. The results were explosive. Villages that had been starving suddenly had enough food. Families could earn money, and this success gave Deng the political cover to push further. Next came the cities. Deng opened for special economic zones along the coast, places like Shenzhen. Think of them as testing labs where foreign companies could invest. Where market rules replaced central planning. In 1980, Shenzhen was a fishing village. Today, it's a megacity of over 12 million people, a symbol of Deng's gamble. But Deng wasn't just about economics. He wanted China to connect with the world. He sent students abroad, reopened universities, welcomed foreign technology, invited leaders from Japan, the US, and Europe to see the new China. He even visited America in 1979, wearing a cowboy hat at a rodeo in Texas, charming the world with his pragmatism. For a country that had been isolated for decades, this was like stepping into sunlight after years in a dark cave. Still, the suspense deepens here. Because opening up wasn't smooth. Inside China, there was fierce resistance. Hardliners accused Deng of betraying socialism. Others feared foreign influence would corrupt China, and ordinary people, suddenly exposed to new ideas, began asking not just for bread but also for freedom. This tension exploded in 1989 at Tiananmen Square. Students, workers, intellectuals, they gathered, demanding reform, democracy, accountability. For weeks, the protests grew, capturing the world's attention. Deng faced the ultimate test. Would he allow political liberalization to match economic opening, or would he clamp down? We all know what happened. The army rolled in, and blood was shed. It was a tragedy that still haunts China's story. Deng had made his choice: economic reform, yes; political reform, no. Many thought this would end Deng's vision. That the West would cut ties, that China would retreat again into isolation. But here's the twist: after a brief freeze, Deng doubled down. In 1992, at nearly 88 years old, he embarked on his famous southern tour. He visited Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and other booming areas, and he declared, "Development is the hard truth." His message was clear: China must keep opening, keep reforming, no matter the resistance. That speech reignited the reform era, and the rest is history. Look around today. China is the second largest economy in the world, a manufacturing hub, a technological competitor, a global force. Deng didn't live to see all of it. He died in 1997, but his fingerprints are everywhere. From the skyscrapers of Shanghai to the smartphones in your pocket, Deng's gamble reshaped the world. But let's not forget the suspense we started with. What if Deng had failed? Imagine if the special economic zones collapsed, if farmers had refused reforms, if foreign investors had never trusted China, or if political chaos had torn the country apart. China might have remained trapped in poverty, irrelevant to global affairs. Instead, because one man decided to take a risk, a nation of 1 billion people found a new path. And here lies the moral. Deng Xiaoping's story teaches us something simple yet profound. Change doesn't come from slogans, it comes from courage, from the willingness to face reality, from daring to try something different even if the world doubts you. It shows us that leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room, but about making decisions that matter when everything is at stake. So, here's my call to you. If you found this story gripping, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and let me know in the comments, do you think Deng's decision was the right one, even with the costs it brought? And of course, if you want more real stories like this, subscribe to the channel and join me on the next journey through history's turning points. Because history isn't just about the past, it's a mirror for today. And who knows, the next Deng Xiaoping might be out there right now, waiting for their moment to change the world.